Hello, welcome to Organizational Behavior. This semester, we're going to be learning about what organizational behavior is, which is the academic study of how people work within groups, and how we can apply those principles to have a more efficient operation. I'm going to be your instructor. My name is Evan Van Dyke, and thank you for joining this course. So this year, this video is going to be basically your guide to how this course operates. Now this course will be running on, it will have deadlines every 2 weeks, so you'll have to meet, but all of the information is available for this course immediately. So if you feel the need, like if you're free and you want to get this course out of the way, you can absolutely do that. You can buckle down and you can work. There are no synchronous courses, which means that you can complete this course at any time, but I will be checking in by email, particularly if your assignments aren't being passed. You'll probably be getting an email from me and setting up a meeting on video call. So let's just start with that. Again, you'll be expected to do this work when you find the time. I know everybody has different schedules with online learning. Not everybody is in Canada, and there are different time zones in play. So you can complete this course at any time, at any pace, but you do have to maintain the minimum pace, which we'll talk about in the deadlines. And I will be following up with you one-on-one or in small groups. So either anytime if you request it, please send me an email. I've posted my email. It'll be in this announcement. You can actually email me and I can set up a time. But for the most part, I'm hoping this video will give you a good idea of what you can expect. So why don't we talk about what textbook you'll be using? Great news, the textbook is actually an open education resource. That means it's totally free. You can use it and you don't have to pay anything. You're going to find that right here in your Brightspace. So when we click it, we are taken directly to the textbook. Now you can hit the read book, and here we are brought to the textbook, Organizational Behavior. If you click Contents, you're going to see all of the chapters listed here. Now the way you go through, so chapter 1, you start with 1.1, and you can begin to read your textbook. When you're ready to move through the chapter, you just continue through. So if you're using a mobile, this might be very difficult. You'll need access to a computer, but you should be able to read this comfortably on a tablet, on a laptop, and if you're in a pinch, your mobile will work, but it might just be a bit of zooming in. The chapters are very interesting. Each one has typically a story of a company, what they were doing, and it's actually quite short to the point. So each chapter should take you about, if you're a fast reader, half an hour, if you're a slower reader, an hour, and they're very to the point. There's about 5 to 6 subsections in each chapter, and this will be the textbook we're using. Again, it's totally free. It's available to you immediately, and it's actually a very good read, so I hope you're going to enjoy it. Secondly, I've broken down this course into what we call 7 modules. Now, each module has a 2-week deadline, and each module has 2 assignments in it. So let's just start with the modules, and then we'll come back around to the assignments. So if you take a look at your announcement, you'll see Module 1, Module 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Module 1 is just a single chapter, but each other module consists of 2 chapters. Now, they're not all in perfect order. You'll see that we skip chapter 2, we skip chapter 11, so do have a look before you just continue reading through the textbook. And the first module's assignments are due on September 20th of this year. Now, if you are taking organizational behavior not in 2020, I'm reusing this video, and you'll see the new deadline updated on your Brightspace. So don't mind this, but for the first time filming this, it's September 20th, 2020. Whatever's on your Brightspace will be your deadline, though. So these 7 modules refer directly to the textbook and the chapters that they are regarding. So People at Work, Module 2, will refer to understanding people at work, individual differences and perception, and individual attitudes and behaviors. So you'll need to read both of these chapters, and then you're going to complete your assignment. So now, why don't we take a look at the assignments? The assignments are going to be the crux of the course. There are 2 assignments for each module. There is your individual exercise, essay, and your case study. So your individual essay, it will make up half of your grade, and your case study response will make up the other half. There's 7 modules at the end of the year. I'm going to take your best 6 of 7, and that will be your score. So if you don't make one of the deadlines, or if you don't do as well as you were expecting, I don't do latest extensions or redos in this course, but you can rest assured that you have an opportunity to make up the grades back. So if you fail one, that's okay. You'll get the feedback. We'll have a meeting together, and you can come back and you can that grade can be ignored. It will be taken out of the equation. So, having a look at these, we'll just head over to our course materials, where you're going to find all of our materials, and let's start with our individual essays. So our individual essay instructions. So use the template given and complete your individual essay. So I'll show you the template. They're all here for each module. The topic is already written in the template. Begin the assignment on the individual essay page. The individual essay will come directly from the free textbook. So now this is actually copy-paste. Discussion questions and topics are taken from the textbook. So they're going to refer directly to the content that you've read. It is so imperative that you read the textbook, otherwise you won't understand what you're responding to. The student must read the content before completing the assignment. Again, I cannot tell you enough. It is so important that you actually read the content, because the topics are directly related from that content. And if you don't, you won't be referring to the right information. You won't be able to answer the questions. So now the topics, just for all the students actually, but don't take the topics to as literal as they say in the exercises. So, and I'll sort of give you an example. You need to provide your best judgment in providing relevant content, because a lot of times they can be vague. They'll use terms like consider the following or think about this. What I don't want to see from you is saying, yes, I've thought about it. That will get you a 0, because you haven't shown any critical thinking. You haven't shown any relevant content. You haven't just displayed what you've thought. So again, don't take it as literal as exactly what it says, but you will be able to see the topics will point you in the right direction. The other times, topics will be very specific in what they want. They'll say, complete this quiz or do this activity, in which case you will be expected to follow the instructions. So again, what I'm looking for from the students is their best judgment, some critical thinking, and just the ability to present that you understand the information that you've read. So when in doubt, think to yourself, will Evan know that I understand the content that is in the chapter? Each essay will require external research to validate your opinions. So you're going to need 3 sources. Now I've already entered one into the references section of your template, and that is the textbook. So the textbook is one of your 3 sources. You can need to find at least 2 others if you want full marks. I'm looking for news articles. I'm looking for journal articles, things that maybe aren't pulled from a BuzzFeed article unless they're properly sourced, but something that is a little more academic. But I'm okay with news articles or interesting business magazine research papers, basically things that you might find on websites that you deem, or that we would deem credible. So Forbes or Business Insider, things like that. So it doesn't just have to be academic papers. It can be other areas. It's just not something that your friend told you. That could not be a good source. Again, you really need to be careful when you source other information. You cannot copy paste unless you're copy pasting a small blurb, and you need to be very specific in what you're copying. So you could copy paste it and say, I'm just, this following statement says this. These are the reasons why I agree. But you couldn't copy paste it and pretend that it's your own information. So when in doubt, just source just use the references and source the material. At the very least, I will know you're not trying to plagiarize, and you will, you'll be properly sourcing your information, and it will be fine. If it crosses the line, but I see you had no ill intent, well, then we can just have that conversation. But nothing, no zeros will be had of it. At the end of your essay, the essay should be using APA format. Include references at the end of the document. The template already has this, so it's really quite easy. All information should be the student's thoughts, and any research referred should be properly referenced. Well, we've talked about that. Finally, the document should be completed in the template provided. The cover page should be updated with your information. There's no minimum or maximum word or page limit, but you need to, once again, use your best judgment on whether you believe you have appropriately responded to the topic. So if it is something that is some of these essays will be 1 page, maybe even 3/4 of a page. Some of them could be up to 3 pages. But if you leave hanging, if you don't answer all the questions, if you answer them abruptly, then you don't have enough information. And on the other side, a lot of the time, if you give me 3 paragraphs of fluff that doesn't answer the question, that is just as bad. So you will need to use your best judgment on how you want to display that information. Once completed, the file should be saved as a PDF and uploaded to Brightspace before the due date. Of course, assignments is where you can upload all of your assessments. Now we do have a rubric here. This is going to be the same rubric for the case studies. You have your grammar, spelling, and formatting. It's about half of the project. So now what I'm looking for is academic level papers. So no spelling mistakes, no grammar mistakes. The project should look excellent. It should meet the requirements, referencing. It should meet the requirements of the topic. If you include subjects, or if you include subsections, they're properly bolded. You've got the titling, that sort of thing. The other half is the material. So from 0 to 5 points, 10 total for this essay. You'll see that you either did not cover any of the points, the topic was not addressed, you had no references, you filled the paper with conjecture, or you just didn't submit or submitted very little. Whereas on the vice versa, you well represented the topic, you covered all the points asked, you show critical thinking, you put some thought and effort into this essay, and you've referenced 3 or more appropriate sources. So that is the instructions for the individual essay. Let's have a look at one of the templates. So now these are saved as Word documents, so you can download these. Here's your title. You can just add your name and the date. And here you'll see that from section 1.8 in your textbook, I have put in the topic. So you've already completed reading this chapter. If not, do so to complete the individual exercise. So please take the learning style survey at vark-learn. So here I've given you a link. This basically is one of those examples of where it says, very specifically, do this. So take the questionnaire and then write about your response to what you get. So although it doesn't say, and this is actually a good example because A, tells you what to do. So this is one of the specific instructions. But B, it doesn't tell you to comment or write in your essay about your learning style and expand upon it. So this would be one of those examples where, yes, you should use your best judgment and say, my learning style is X. Here's what I've learned about that. I work best with these types of people. Use your judgment in telling me about your learning style, although it doesn't directly say that. So again, the topic is sort of sending you in the right direction. It can be specific, like take the learning style survey, and sometimes it can be a little bit not as specific, but you'll need to use your best judgment in determining what that is. So have a look at the table of contents for the organizational behavior, and here, what themes do you see? How do you think these topics affect your interactions with others, and so on. So it gives you a lot to discuss. Now again, I'm not going to tell you exactly how your writing should be laid out. If you wanted to take these questions and put them in subheadings, so themes in bold, and then write a paragraph below that, if that's how you like to organize your thoughts, then you could copy the question, how did the topics interact or affect your interactions with others, and write a paragraph or two about that and put it in bold, and you want to organize it that way, I'm okay with that. If you wanted to, just begin answering questions, if you wanted to write long form, I'm okay with that. It's up to you of how you want to organize and structure, as long as I can follow it. If I can't tell which of these you're really answering or what you're trying to do or say, that's when you start losing marks. So I'll leave it to you and your creative and leave it with your creative liberty to organize it in the way you like. On the next page, we have individual exercise essay, and then we have our references. Now I'm just going to quickly download this and show you about the references. So here again, you would start your writing. Now you can, well, if you like, you can put, like I mentioned, your learning styles questionnaire, and you can type my learning style based upon, and so on and so on. Now when you get to the point where you want to source something, so let's say you typed a sentence and you found a website, the easiest thing, because I've already set you up with your references with the textbook already in there, would be to go to references, insert citation, add new source, and suppose you found a website. You can go to website, there's report, there's book, there's anything that you'd like to source, and you can write the author, the website, well, I guess that would be the URL, so the year, the month, and let's say that's the information you find. And here you see that now you've sourced it. It's already been entered. And when you go down to references, you can just update these citations, and here it is. And it's just that easy to make sure that you are referencing properly and you're sourcing correctly. So every time you pull some information from another website, it takes all of 30 seconds to fill in the information. You've sourced it, you've updated your references, and that is totally fine. We use information from people all the time, as long as we don't copy paste a paragraph and try to claim it as our own. So that is how you will complete your essay. Now let's talk about our case study. Now the case study question, the instructions are both very similar. Now the case study has a case study, which is essentially a story based around a business. They're all real, and discussion questions. Now I've already put the case study and the discussion questions into your templates, so they're all pulled once again directly from your textbook, your free textbook. So if you don't read the work, you're not going to understand how to respond. So again, please, it's so important to read the assignment. The discussion questions will provide thoughts and questions for the student to consider. Again, you need to make sure that you are providing relevant content. So if a question asks you, and we can get to this, why do you think that the employee should be fired? Well, if you just write, the employee should be fired because they made a mistake, well, now you're not showing any critical thinking or relevant content. But if you reference back and say the importance of having strict rules at work according to this textbook, according to this research paper, lead me to believe that the employee should be fired, then you've shown some research, you've shown some depth, and that's how you're going to get full marks. So once again, it can be vague. It might ask you a question like, do you think? And if you just come back with yes or no, then you're not going to get good marks. But if you come back with the research around this topic would state, then you will get full marks. Once again, you need 3 sources for your essay. And I've already provided you the one source. You should be in APA format. You should change your cover word. There is no minimum or maximum word or page limits. And once you're done, save as a PDF and upload to Brightspace before the due date. Let's have a look at a case study. I'll just download it and we can have a look on Word. So you see module 1, you can enter your name and date. So the very first one, maintaining core values, the case of now. And here you can see that it's discussing the effects of car emissions, waste we produce, and a clothing company that makes clothes not using chemicals, pesticides, called Now. Here it was based in the Pacific Northwest, which is the Seattle area, and you can finish reading the rest of the case. It's very interesting. Here you'll see the discussion questions. So what benefits might result from becoming a part of a larger organization? So they were bought out within this. Have a look and see what benefits that you believe that the research shows, what the textbook says. Again, you know, if although it asks you what it is, I'm looking for you to do the research and to show the critical thinking. What are the benefits of maintaining the autonomy of a small company? So now it's asking for benefits of both sides. And the globalization and ethical dilemmas. Here, the case study response, you would enter. And once again, your references are already set up. Now, I should mention when you do your references with the textbook, I just ask that at the very end, you just put in your section. So let's say you pull this from section 2.3. And don't forget to, let's say you were to say something from here. And references, you're going to add your textbook. With that, I would like to see which section you pulled the information from. So that way, I can refer back to that page and have a look and see what you read that you referenced. So those are the only two assignments and exercises you're going to be doing. We're not going to be using exams in this course. So that said, I will be marking these like you're a second year academic student. I will be expecting good writing and some research shown. I don't believe that the workload is too much. There is about a chapter a week for the entire semester and one essay and one case study for each module. So for about one assignment per week. But I think once you get in the habit of writing these, you will be done them. You'll do them quite quickly. And if you're happy with your marks after module 6 and you've got all A's, you don't even have to complete module 7 because we're going to drop the last one. The good news is you won't have to do any memorization, exam writing, and you will be done before finals week. A couple of quick rules to go over. I do not do late assignments. I do not allow redos. These are not group assignments in any way. So these are all individual assignments, meaning if you are working with somebody, be very careful that you are not using the same sources, coming up with the same answers, writing the same work. If the easiest way for you to get a 0 and potentially more discipline would be to copy or to do this work as a group when you should be doing it individually. So really quick overview here, just with Brightspace, you can find all of your assignments. Module 1, you have your individual essay and your case study. Module 2, all the way through Module 7. And you'll be able to see your grades a few days after you submit them out of 10 here. So once again, welcome to Organizational Behavior. If you have any questions, I'll be touching base with everybody in the first week just to make sure you're in the course, make sure you have access to your Brightspace, see if you have any questions, and I'll be doing some group video sessions just to make sure people have have the information they need. But everything's at your fingertips with the Open Education textbook, the assignments right away. The due dates are strict, but if you wanted to get ahead, if your first couple weeks are pretty light with studies and you think, wow, I don't want to be overrun in November or December, feel free to jump ahead, because you can absolutely do that. I will give you marks as soon as they come in within a few days. So I'm happy to do that. If you want me to review your work before you submit it, I will do that on a case-by-case basis with video calls. So meaning, send me a note and book a time, and we will absolutely be able to go through your work together. Now, these are all due on Sunday, so if you're asking Saturday afternoon, I probably won't check my email until Monday. So make sure you're giving yourself lots of time. Well, thanks to everyone so much for coming and joining me for organizational behavior this year. I hope you have a fantastic semester. I really look forward to seeing what you produce here and seeing what you come up with. Have a great day. Have a great semester. We're going to be talking soon and going through this. All right, everyone, take care, and we will chat here in the next couple days.